Hi everyone, Alabitar here. So today I'm going to show you a little game that I've created. So we're going to have some fun with PowerApp today. Basically, it's the kind of game that you can find in the Chrome browser. You know, this little dinosaur where you jump to avoid obstacles. So it's the same kind of little game that I've created. Before we jump into how can we build such application or such little game in Power App, let's see it in action. So let me just unlock my phone, put some music, and hit the start game button. So you see, I have this touch to jump button. So each time I hit the button, my little guy jumps and avoid the obstacles. And if I forgot to jump, it's a game over. I can click on the game over again, and my score is reinitialized, and it's like a new game over and over and over. So you can play for hours and hours. Okay, let's cut the sound. Put aside the game, the phone, and let's dig into how can we implement such functionalities. So basically, in Power App, if you want to create such motion, you know, I have my background that moves from left to right. I have my obstacles that are coming from right to left. I have my little guy that is jumping. So the y-axis is changing for the background, and the obstacles, it is the x-axis that is changing. So in order to create such motion, you have to play a bit with the timer component. So if we look at the different components that I have, so first of all, I have only one screen, and as I was saying, so I have my background, I have my little guy, I have the obstacles, and I have my score. So those are the four things that are either moving or changing live on the screen. So for each component, there is a timer that is binded to those components, and starting and stopping that timer and using its value, we will be able to create such motion. So for example, the background, if I click on my image, if I click on the X property of my image, I can see that the X is binded to the value of the background times a number. This number represents the velocity, the speed of how fast or how slow you want to move your image, or whatever. It can be a button, it can be whatever. So for example, my background here is an image. So when I hit the start game button, I'm putting a start game variable to true, and I'm resetting the current score. And if we look at the timer background timer, the start property is binded to this start game. So whenever I hit the start game button, I know that my timer background is going to run. It's going to run for how long? It is going to run for 4 seconds and 300 milliseconds. And when it starts, because this timer background also handles the obstacles. For me, the obstacles it's just an icon. So, and each time the timer background runs, so that I know that I have my obstacle that went from just a little bit off the right of my screen to just a little bit left on the screen, to create this kind of motion that the object is entering the screen and is leaving the screen. I generate randomly a number between 0 and 3. So my current obstacle, that is here, the icon, The icon property is a lookup to a collection called set of obstacles, and I know that I have a number, current obstacle, that will be between 0 and 3. And on the start of the on the onstart of the application, I have a collection called set of obstacles where I put 4 different objects from ID 0 to ID 4. So in that way, I know that randomly, maybe almost every time, the icon is going to change. So this, with one timer, you are able to move a background here times the velocity, and you can also change the value of an icon. I used an icon for simplicity, but you can have a set of image, a gallery of image, and you can, like, iterate randomly between those different images. So this was for the background, as well for the exposition of the obstacles. This is binded to the same timer building, to another timer called timer building, times a velocity, a different velocity, because I wanted to the background moves a little bit slower than the obstacle. So you can play with it. So you can either increase the speed or lower the speed. You can increase the time of the duration, the duration timer, if you like. If you want to have some, I don't know, you want to have, for example, two obstacles at the same time, so it's going to be harder for the player. So basically, the possibilities are endless, but you have to keep in mind that in order to create some motion, you have to use a timer in PowerApp. So this is basically the idea. And I have my player, also the Y of my player, because I wanted him to go up and to a certain point that is a Y of 204. It will go down to the same starting position. So I'm not going to go into the the mathematical formula, but basically, when you want to move an object to a certain point and make that this object returns to its starting point, you have to choose the middle, or it's not the middle, but it's one specific point, and from that specific point you will have to inverse the calculation. So you see, on the first part, I am reducing the Y till half of the duration of my timer, and then I'm augmenting the Y at the same speed. This is very important, but you can also as well wanted to, for I don't know, maybe it will jump quicker than coming back to the starting point. But anyway, so this is the idea that I wanted to show you, and for you also to be able to play with it, because you can download this application from my GitHub, and then you can play with it, whatever you can, change the speed or change the length of the timers. What I wanted to show you also, the score, the best score, and the current score. What is how did how I have done it? It's basically in the on the timer building. On the timer end, it's also to see if you when the timer ends of the object, of the obstacle, I know that when the timer ends, there is a new building that is coming. So when it's end, when timer ends, I'm checking the Y of my player. If the Y of my player is between 904 and 850, I know that I have lost, because the Y corresponds to a certain range, the Y of my obstacle. So I'm stopping the game. I'm setting the game over to true, and I'm checking. I have a variable called best score. If best score is less than the current score, it means that I have beat my best score. So I save the current score into the best score, and I save the data to a variable called best score. Sorry, and of course on the start of the application, I'm loading as well the best score. So here you see this little red line, because in the browser it doesn't work. The save data and the load data doesn't work. So guys, I think that's it for the little game. I hope you like the videos, and don't hesitate to post any comment or tell me any kind of remarks that you have, or if you played with the application, with this little game, and there's something you didn't understand. So hope you enjoyed the video. And but most important, two things before I leave you. Don't forget to subscribe, and a game in PowerApp, of course, it's PowerAppsible. See ya. Ciao.